PowerIQ 1.4 Evaluation Quick Start video. PowerIQ 1.4 Evaluation Options. Option 1. Run as a virtual machine on your VMware ESX system. Option 2. Run as a virtual machine on VMware's free VMware Player. This video covers Option 1. Assumes you have PowerIQ evaluation software ISO image. You either attained it via download and has a file name PowerIQ 1.4 ESX.ISO, or you obtained it from a DVD with a file name of PowerIQ.ISO. There are 4 basic steps to setting up your evaluation. Step 1 is to configure a virtual machine with the following attributes on your VMware ESX host. Configure it with 15 GB hard drive space, 2 GB RAM, Red Hat Enterprise Linux 4 32-bit. Step 2 is import the PowerIQ evaluation ISO image to the virtual machine you just created. The rest of the video will cover Step 3 and Step 4. Step 3 would be to open the console and set the network settings for the new virtual machine. You'll set the IP address of PowerIQ. You'll need to remember this IP address because this is what you'll use to access it via web browser. You'd set the network gateway and the network mask. Step 4 is access PowerIQ via web browser to finish the basic setup, such as adding PDUs, setting polling intervals, enabling power control, and creating some basic reports. I'll now go on to Step 3 and 4 in my live demo. First, I'd like to highlight where you could learn more about PowerIQ. You can visit our support page to obtain more documentation, such as the user manual, quick start, and other templates. You can email us or you can call. Now I'm going to show you how to configure the PowerIQ network settings via the serial console. You'd access your serial console from your VMware host, and you'd log on to the serial console by entering config, C-O-N-F-I-G, and Raritan, R-A-R-I-T-A-N. I use the arrow key to select Network Setup, hit Enter. I hit Enter to set up LAN 1. I use the space bar to select Enable LAN 0 port Ethernet. I use the Tab key to move down. I enter the IP address of my PowerIQ appliance. So I give it a free IP address, and this is how you'll access it via web, so you need to remember this. You enter your network mask, then you enter your network gateway. I've already configured my system, so I'll tab down. You would accept, but I'm going to cancel. Now, via web browser, I enter the IP address that I assigned to PowerIQ, and I would first see a end user license agreement come on my screen, and I scroll through, read that, click accept, and now I enter the default username and password, which is admin, A-D-M-I-N, and the password is Raritan, R-A-R-I-T-A-N. This is the screen that is a default setup. So the first step I want to do is click Add PDU. For adding any PDU, I need to enter the IP address, 66.214.208.91. And for most PDUs, all I now need to add, so if I was entering an APC PDU or server tech, I would just need to enter the IP address, and now I just need to add the community string, which is typically default as private, P-R-I-V-A-T. This would be the read-write community string to allow me to read data and perform commands on the PDU. Again, P-R-I-V-A-T-E. If this was a Raritan PX that I was adding, I would also need to add the username and password. And the username is by default admin, and the password again is Raritan, R-A-R-I-T-A-N. I'm going to say wait for discovery to complete before proceeding, and I'll say add. And I see my status window, and it's done. What I want to do now is go to my settings and confirm two basic settings. One is I want to set the polling interval to 1 minute so I can start to accumulate data. And so my polling interval here I select, I just set it as 1 minute and save. Again, I've already set it, so I'll cancel it. That'll start to get data into the system. The second setting set up is power control options. And I want to click Enable Power Control if I'm evaluating on a switched PDU. Display confirmation and require a reason. Now I'll need to enter some basic information in the data center hierarchy so that I can have some useful reports. From the Add menu, I want to add a data center. I've already done that. I've added a data center called Jersey City. And then from Jersey City, again, I use the same drop down to add my rack 10. And again, from the same drop down, I will now want to associate the PDU that I've now added, associate it to the rack 10. And this will allow me to perform some useful analytics. So I have my hierarchy of a PDU associated with a rack, associated with a data center. I click my Analytics tab, and I can add as many report folders as I want. This one I'll call my Summary Report. And then within a report folder, I can add as many charts as I want. And by clicking the Settings tab, I can enter a title, description, select my time period. Since I have little data in the system, let's select the time period of past hour. I can select the measurement of active power, and I can select my data from racks, because I added a rack. And then I can chart up to 8 lines. I'm selected line 1, and I select rack 10. I click OK. Now I know my PDU has no load, so it shows 0, but that if it had a load, it would show data here. I can then add a second chart, settings. I can select a different time period. Longer time periods have more measurement options, such as past 24 hours. And you can see I have a full complement of measurement options ranging from active power to IT energy to carbon footprint to total energy cost, including cooling. So I'll select IT energy, and this time I can select from my data center level, and I'll select the data center that I chose, Jersey City. And then finally, from the PDU, I can select the PDU. In this PDU, the information provided by the PDU varies by manufacturer, but I can see that I'm collecting data from this PDU. I'm confirming there is actually no load collected, so my charts were correct. And then from this state, I can perform power control. I select outlet 1, which is currently off, and I can now turn it on. And it's going to ask me a reason, and I'll say trouble ticket 6745. Hit OK. This concludes a brief overview of how to quickly get started with your evaluation of PowerIQ 1.4. For more details on detailed analytics or detailed power control or more advanced setup, look for additional videos. Thank you.